We're here at Baralaba Central where the rehabilitation is nearing its final stages. Baralaba Central is a legacy project. Mining finished here around 10 years ago. So in the last 18 months, the final void has been filled. The final landform has been established. Topsoil that was stripped in the early days of mining has been brought back across and spread. Some soil has been ameliorated with gypsum, and then seeds have been spread, some fertiliser applied, and have capitalised on the early season rains, and now we've got good strike with the initial Japanese millet. Definitely a lot of planning goes into it, but there is a little bit of luck as well. So we really wanted to time the seeding to finish around when usually you'd expect to get a little bit of early season rain and then get some consistent rainfall without anything too heavy. So looking at long-term averages, November is about when you can count on that in this area. So yeah, first week of November we finished seeding, and luckily in the days following that we got our first rainfall. First species you can see here is the Japanese millet. There's some of the legumes starting to come through as well, but the Japanese millet will die off pretty soon and provide good organic matter covering the soil. And then the species that will be here longer term will come through. So we'll look at some Rhodes grasses, some Gaddon pennick, some creeping bluegrass as well. The next phase for us here is to monitor the rehab. We'll start an annual monitoring program and start building a data set to look at trends to make sure it's heading towards its final land use of grazing. If there's any corrective actions identified, we'll rectify those. Yeah, so we've been doing a fair bit of Leucaena management around on the mining lease and then our adjoining land recently. There was a big focus right next to Baralaba Central here because there was about a 25 hectare paddock with substantial Leucaena growth. We wanted to get on top of that before we finished the rehabilitation here to limit the opportunity for that Leucaena to propagate through this final landform and to make the management of this area a little bit easier going forward. And then also that adjoining land now can be grazed, whereas before it was just left and it was a Leucaena forest. We won't rush putting the cattle in here. We want to make sure the land can sustain cattle grazing into the future. So we'll monitor in the next few months and continue to monitor in the years ahead. But if we get a few good seasons, we should be able to sustain light cattle grazing in about 3 years' time. The focus for active rehabilitation now moves to Baralaba North, where the mining activities are occurring, and we'll look to closely follow where the mining is taking place to make sure we're rehabbing about what we disturb each year and keep the footprint, the active footprint, about the same every year. Now, if we're disturbing 20, 40 hectares a year, we'll look to do that same amount of rehab right behind us.